What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Jack Ramsays for the first time in almost a month. By a day. I missed it by a day.
Has it been that long?
For the first time in almost March or February 27th is when I had Trent Watford on. And then I had my surgery following that. And then it's just been a complete and total pain in the ass for my recovery. For me to kind of get on here and figure some stuff out. And then I got hit with an ear infection. Mm-hmm. And that held me down really until about a day or so ago. I have been taking a copious amount of drugs, different from the normal drugs that I take.
That's fun.
Yeah. But again, quick update. I'm moving around. I'm not fully off my crutches. If you saw me at the game tonight, you saw me for the first night off my crutches for any period of time. I am hurting. So, the shout out to everybody who said hi and stopped by to wish me well and everything over the last couple weeks. Thank you all so much. Longest intro ever, right at 2 minutes. Danny Marang, Brandon Sprague. Brandon, how you doing, buddy? It's been a while.
Yeah, the last one we were going to do, we had it scheduled, and I had somebody, it ended up not happening. And I had somebody go, hey, why did you guys alert everybody that you were doing an episode and you didn't do one? And I said, well, could have been, maybe. The fact that my co-host underwent surgery like less than a month ago, is taking God knows how many drugs at this point, and is battling an ear infection. There is a possibility that, he just passed out one day.
And it's literally what happened. Thursday we were supposed to go.
Yeah.
I told my wife when I got... So that was the first time really out of the house, other than Sunday I had gone to the game. Thursday we were on location at X Golf. Mm-hmm. And shout out to X Golf, not a sponsor of the program, but Barrett and his guys, they treated us incredibly well. Had a fantastic time on location in Vancouver and in Tualatin. Mm-hmm. Love their facilities. MB hopped on. It was great to catch up with him. But Thursday, I may or may not have stepped up into a bay and grabbed a driver and swung it a few times. And when I say swung it, I mean did not transfer an ounce of energy into my left hip at all.
Yeah.
But I transferred it all into my left rib cage.
Right.
And then a 2-hour drive home from Vancouver to Newburgh.
Yeah, that's brutal.
I got home, and I looked at my wife, and I went, I need to lay down for a little bit. And lay down for a little bit turned into waking up at 10:30 at night.
I assumed the live location shows were going to kill the energy.
Oh, dude. The Vancouver show did me in hard.
I wanted to like almost text you and be like, yo, like, I know we haven't done one. I know you've been going to a couple games here, but maybe we wait till Sunday or Monday night. So it's good to be back.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on with the team, and I know a lot of people got questions. So
where do you want to start? Where do you want to start? Because you and I haven't talked on record. I mean, you and I talk all the time. But we haven't talked on record.
I don't think there's really much to add to what I'm going to say here, but just like where you want to start. I do want to just start everything because there's a lot of good questions and a lot of things. It's really a bummer for me, man. Their game a couple nights ago, I couldn't do it. And I'm kind of at a weird point with this team where, I know you're going to get into the process of things, and I know you like that a lot, and there's elements of that I love too, but it hit me today. I was watching this game, and it kind of just hit me a little bit of a bummer. Like, we're right back here, you know what I mean? Like, I know it's a much later point in the season than it was last year, but knowing nothing really went your way this year, and a lot of things kind of went against you, and there were some unpredictable things that happened as well. Like just the reality of the franchise being in this spot in back-to-back years. It's a bummer for me, and I get it. I understand, like, losses are important now. We could talk about the Utah game and, like, what was the deal with that? I know there's probably more to it than just, well, they were competing. But as much as we talk about those things, it's a real bummer that that's the topic. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah, the vibe in general, and I've seen some people already in the comments are just like, I'm doing this 2 years in a row.
Yeah,
there's some truth.
We're
to
spoiled.
That.
We're a little spoiled. Like we are.
Yes.
I do think this franchise has been kind of in the position you don't want to be in the NBA for
that
a while
middle
now. But
you also don't want to be in 17 years without the playoffs like the Sacramento Kings.
100% right. But like we are a little spoiled living here. Most of us, if we lived here most of our lives, because we had some really great, fun teams. We had some teams that were close, and
you and I growing up had title contending teams.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little too young to really understand the late 80s, 90s teams, but like, understanding what that was and remembering some moments, like hit and miss moments from the finals as a little kid, and then getting the Sheed, Sabas, Stoudemire, Pippen years, like we were spoiled. And making the first round every year doesn't do much for me either, but like it just sucks that they're right back in this position a year later.
I do get that sentiment, especially people your age and my age, like around our age, in that we are spoiled. We grew up. Listen, the Blazers, I believe, are the fourth winningest franchise in NBA history. They might have fallen down to fifth. I think San Antonio passed them up, but it's like Boston, LA, San Antonio. No, Phoenix, Portland. But that's because Phoenix has only been around since 1990. Had 20 more years of success, and the Blazers are still right there. In what was it, 27 straight years in the playoffs?
I can't remember what that was.
Or is it 22 in the playoffs and 27 for the sellouts?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah. I think it's the reverse of that. Yeah, 22 and 27. Yeah.
Which, that's insane. And they've had multiple eras. Really, this era, the Aldridge, Roy, Oden, and Dame CJ and Dame Aunt Jeremy eras are the only eras outside of the Jailblazers that haven't been title contenders. Like, haven't had a no bullshit title contender in it. And so I get that frustration. I get that whole angst. But this whole, like, 2 years in a row, like, come on, man. It's not that bad. And it's for all of the wasted another year of Damian Lillard's prime. There was nothing that was happening coming into this season, regardless of how great or awful Damian Lillard was, that wasn't going to be wasted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think we might be disagreeing here, or we might be kind of saying similar things. I'm a little confused here. So what I would say is 2 years in a row, like, it's not that bad. I think that's your main point, right? And
yes.
My point is, like, it does. Part of me.
It does suck. Like I'm saying, it's not black and white. That's why I'm trying to get, like, there is nuance here. Like,
sure.
I've seen people say, well, if Dame was going to have this year and it didn't really matter, they shouldn't have just played this year. That's not life. That's not reality. Like, Damian Lillard is still irritated about being shut down right now.
Oh, I think he's definitely pissed he can't
play.
Oh,
no,
like,
I'm telling you, he's pissed.
Yeah, this isn't a fun part, because it's a realization of two things. It's a realization that, one, your season was a failure, and it's a lot of things were out of your control in that regard. And two, it puts your state of your franchise in a little bit of flux and questioning by a lot of people. And those are two things that, a guy like that, he's always going to hate that. And he should.
Yeah, that's how he's wired. And I think now it's kind of talk about the shift, right? The team, people say, oh, they didn't need to tank. Like, they could have won actually quite a few games down the stretch. Like, they probably would have been at 500 down the stretch, or one above 500 games. Not 500 of the season. That would have been a tough ask. But if you're looking around the league right now, that probably would have kept them in the play-in. As insane as that is. You're watching Dallas plummet right now. You're watching the Lakers struggle left, right, and center. Like, teams are trying somehow to not get into the play-in.
I mean, Golden State lost at home to Minnesota tonight. Like I don't know what that was about.
Everybody's tripping over themselves right now.
The West isn't good.
No, you've got all these situations that it's just like. So the Blazers made that pivot. I'm glad that they did.
Yeah.
A shit or get off the pot kind of situation, and they were like, "All right, see you later, bye."
I don't need them to compete. Like, oh, we're 3-3. I see some of this, and I see it's like, oh, we're only 3.5 out, and it's like, I mean, I get what you're saying, but. Can we be honest here? This
no, just pack it up.
Awful for a long time. Pack it up. Like you're not going to make the play.
What's interesting is kind of where do they go from here in a sense, and we have hinted at this literally since the beginning of last year, this summer, and we'll dive into this summer stuff. But there's 4 home games left. What, 8 total games? I guess the best way to do is just kind of rewind and kind of frame where they're at with the guys that are playing now. Obviously, the biggest thing here, and I mean for you especially, the baby Kobe showtime.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about
games, man.
Let's talk about Shaedon here a little bit.
Wow.
I have not been critical, but I have definitely pumped the brakes on like, hey guys, he's not going to be a starter next year. Like if you're in the sense of they're going to make a big trade and they're going to be competitive, they're going to be like chasing the Western Conference Finals. You can't have Shaedon be a starter. But I think what he's showing is that maybe if he has a summer of growth and picking up stuff, maybe he's in your 6-7 role and is somebody that you can count on to be a contributor. Maybe this is your rookie Harrison Barnes kind of treatment with the Warriors, where maybe he's a starter. I don't think they'll do that with him because I don't think he's as far along as Barnes was as a rookie. But you put him in a position to be more successful going forward. And I think that's really what they're trying to do over the last couple of games and really to close out the season.
Yeah, I mean, what he's been doing the last 3 weeks, like he had this breakout game against Utah, and he was unbelievable in that game. He really was just sensational. And then the second game, like on my show, I was like, yeah, I'm betting his under. He's a rookie, right? Like the up and down nature of rookie seasons.
Yeah.
He responded with 24 points, had a great second game in a row. And then tonight going into Oklahoma City, it's like, what's going to happen? Well, he's going to set a career high of 29 points. Like,
and he's getting tonight. He got like top billing coverage.
Yeah.
Like Lou Dort started out on him.
Yes. And it wasn't like he was atrocious from the field either. He's aggressive. And it's not just offense with him. Like, I feel like the last couple games, like you're seeing aggression on defense.
Yes.
He's timely on steals. He's helping a little bit on the weak side. Like, he's kind of feeling himself out more and more. Now he's got this opportunity where there isn't, I'm rookie, there's veteran guard next to me guy who probably needs the ball more, right? Like, he's been given like the complete green light here. And that's one element of what this position puts you in is you get guys that get this experience. They get this run. They get this opportunity. Ant had it last year, and he ran with it so much that they had to sit him so they could properly lose these games. And now this year, like, I don't think Shaedon's going to win. You're beating the likes of the Clippers and Sacramento's, but he's keeping them around. Him and Nas tonight were fantastic, and they were close, and I was getting a little worried they'd win that game. But ultimately, I think what you've seen from Shaedon is encouraging. I would say there is one trade that if they make this trade, it kind of works out perfectly for the next 2 seasons for Portland from a contention standpoint and a developmental standpoint for Shaedon.
Yeah, I think you highlighted something I really want to talk about because I have been super critical of Shaedon's defense, and I'm not critical, not super critical as far as like what everyone's like, oh no, he can be a starter. And again, that's kind of going to that level. Like, he showed so many gaffes mentally that was like, he's got tools. There's no doubt about that. But like, rookies are bad at defense. Like, they're genuinely bad at defense. You're going to see for the first time in a long time a guy coming in next year in Victor who's going to get on the court and be wildly impactful defensively.
Yeah, he's 7'5". Like, yes.
But not just that, like, he's long. Like, everybody thought Chet, and again, it's unfair maybe to Chet because he didn't play this year, but everybody thought Chet would be like impactful defensively.
Yeah.
You can take all that and throw it into the sun. Wemby's going to come out. He's going to be impactful defensively. It's not just his size; it's his instincts. It's a bit like this is a guy who, from the jump, this is Tim Duncan. Like as far as like the kind of impact you expect him to have.
Mm-hmm.
That's the level he's being. His instincts, his tools, all those things. Like it's not gonna be Paolo or Zion and like, yeah, there's stuff there, but it doesn't really impact winning yet. Wemby should be a transcendent LeBron, Tim Duncan. Like day one, they impact winning on the floor. You were never going to expect that from Shaedon, nor should you. And you saw Jalen Williams tonight for the Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
Like he does some stuff, but even he has spots that he falls apart. With Shaedon, particularly over the last 4 or 5 games, he's gotten significantly better. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's the comfort of the offensive stuff. Like, I mean, this isn't to take a shot at Shaedon, just young players in general. When you get a few more shots, typically the defensive effort comes up a little bit. You start feeling good about yourself because everything is about offense now. Mm-hmm. I can't remember what coach it was in the NCAA tournament this weekend that got super mad about. Oh, it was Izzo. It was Izzo talking about, how do you motivate guys? And he's like, yeah, shots and minutes. It's like, all right, man. Like, I get it, but he's not wrong.
No, yeah, for sure.
Young guys, they need that to kind of feel the flow and get motivated on the other side. There's only so many Matisse Thybulles who are like, oh, no, I'm going to play defense whether I get the ball once or 20 times,
Right.
So, but as it pertains to Shaedon, I don't want to talk about every game, but I want to talk about tonight.
Yeah.
One of the things I asked Chauncey before the game was offensively, Shaedon, like, where are you trying to get him? Like, is it more about decision-making process or organizational stuff? Like trying to get the team organized, point guardy type things. And Chauncey was like, yeah, no, definitely just let's put him in a decision tree. Let's remove the organization for him. That's for everybody wondering, why is Archer Diacono playing over Keon? That's why. Mm-hmm. They're trying to make things easier for Shaedon. That's part of the key. So they're trying to get Shaedon in opportunities where, reading the coverage or getting to a certain spot, like taking the A out of the B and C and saying, hey, figure out how you get from B to C. Mm-hmm. It's just a little thing. But they're also throwing him to the Wolves defensively. Chauncey has said, like, look, I threw him on Zach LaVine against Chicago. They're going to throw him on SGA tonight. I thought LaVine got him a few times with some stuff. I mean, just athletically, LaVine's a different cover than SGA. But I thought Shaedon tonight took angles on SGA, and SGA was surprised. Bumped into Shea like, oh shit. Like he just cut him off. Shaedon does this thing where he kind of puts his hands almost behind his back defensively. And he, takes those angles and cuts guys off, and he's strong. And he cut off Shea probably 5 or 6 times tonight. Just stuffed his drive. Mm-hmm. Absolutely stuffed it. And that's the kind of stuff like that'll never make a highlight reel or anything along those lines. But those are the things when I'm watching tape, when I'm watching live, those are the things that sets off the alarm bells. For you, are you have you kind of picked that stuff up?
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, I just think, one, he didn't register a steal today, right? But if you look at his last couple games, and I don't measure steals as just the end-all be-all of defense, but
no, but it's being in the right place,
active, and moving around and rotating the right spots. We had one of our listeners, Miguel. He put a $50 bet on a parlay today, and the only thing of his parlay that didn't hit of the 4
was SGA,
the under of SGA.
Yep.
And I think it's sad to say this because he lost the bet, but I think Miguel should be happy about the effort he at least saw Shaedon give. Now, here's the other part of this. Shaedon got his looks today. Shaedon is at a spot where they're like, yo, Shaedon, we need you to shoot. I still didn't think he shot as much as I'd want him to shoot, but of his 13 shots, 5 of those were threes, right? He was aggressive. He went to the line. Mm-hmm. He had 11 free throws tonight, and it's not just
That's
rookie.
The kicker. It's that his shot attempts are way up if it's not for free throws.
Well, right. And to me, it's also it's just not like a rookie standing at the line waiting to shoot another three-pointer. He got some threes up, but he's putting the ball on the ground. A little sloppy tonight at 5 turnovers, but for the most part, you're seeing what made him such a prospect. Mm-hmm. And I think some of that, what makes guys happy, it's playing and shots. Like, I think there's absolutely something to that. I just continue to believe it because of who they're playing at this point. He's looking around and he's going, none of this really has an impact anymore. I'm just going to go play my game. Like, he can't have 5 turnovers and be 1 of 5 from the field if you're a good team. That's not going to be a good look for him.
Yeah.
They don't want him to win games. So he's just going out there and he's playing real free, and he's putting in the effort on both sides. And that makes me really encouraged. And again, I keep fantasizing about one trade that if they can make it work, I think in 2 years, we're talking about, holy crap, look how this looks right now on paper.
And that's ultimately where I think probably a month ago, I was a little up in the air on Shaedon next year. His ability to be impactful for a team that had goals of being not just a playoff team, but a upper echelon playoff team, top 5 team in the West. I think that's their goal next year is top 4, top 5. I didn't know if I thought Shaedon could be that guy, like 6th, 7th man, right? What I have seen over the last 2 weeks, I think if he has a good summer, he could be that guy. And it has almost nothing to do with the box score stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's the mental stuff. It's the strength stuff. It's the processing stuff. Those are the things, like the soft skills. That's what I look for more, because obviously the basketball stuff is there. Like everybody's this is me in a nutshell. That dunk he had tonight was insane, right?
Mm-hmm.
For me, the thing that I rewound and watched 5-6 times and was showing people is how he got there. He gets the ball, brings it up, kind of a slower break. He's got a little change of pace, and then he takes a flat angle, just straight 90 to the rim. Almost turns square, chest to the sideline. And then he flips his hips like a wide receiver hitting an out and up. And it's one step, and Williams is cooked.
Mm-hmm.
Shaedon gets his shoulder, he uses his physicality, uses his frame.
Gets the leverage with the body.
Gets the leverage with the body, and boom, he is gone. Yeah. Absolutely gone. And at that point in time, go bonkers because he's a freak in the air. But it was that. That was the thing that I was like, oh shit. Mm-hmm. Because that was the processing, and that was the aggressiveness, that was the assertiveness, and that was the light switch going off of, he can't stay in front of me. And I think athletically, I still don't think Shea understands what he is athletically. I think it's starting to click. Like, I think he knows he's bouncy, but I don't think he knows that he has the one burst to get by basically anyone.
Right.
That he has the stride, and another one I think was the complete opposite of that burst was tonight. That super slowed down Euro step where he
where he split the defenders with the Euro though. In the second quarter, I think it was.
Yep.
And he split right through him on the right, and he got that layup, and I was like,
super slow, like full speed into full decel.
Yeah.
But the last slide of it, when he went from left to right, he didn't push off. He chested, I think it was Dort, which is saying something. Right. Chested Dort just enough to get clear and keep him from being able to get to the ball. Right. And I was like, those are the things that stand out. Like when you're talking about everyone's like, oh, the dunks and the threes. Like, I look at how they get to them. How does he create space? Mm-hmm. Like the thing that I want to see from him the most down the stretch of the season is offensively is the not playmaking but decision making. Like, he's been put in pick and rolls a few times. OKC, Dort, and Giddey both kind of played at the level, and it bothered him when they brought a little bit of pressure, a little bit of a not even a full trap, but not even a full blitz. It was kind of a soft trap, to be honest.
It was almost a show at some point. You know what I mean?
But it came above the show, but like not full. It was, again, things Shaedon isn't used to seeing.
Right.
And you could see him process in real time. And you can see when he wasn't. There were times when he turned the corner and his eyes needed to open up to the backside corner. And it was almost like there was a wall there. He saw everything in his right hand and ball side, strong side on the ball. He saw nothing on the backside. And that's not
Right.
I'm not like burying him for it, but like that's the more he does that, the more reps he gets, the more opportunity he has to kind of like that for that process to slow down, right?
Well, I think that's the beauty though, Danny, is he's going to have all of these games now to end the season and go, oh, and learn that way. Like that's the pivot point to the summer. It's like, how do you end your season? How do you translate what you experienced and what you did or did not do well? And how do you add to that? I think the big thing for me too, it's not just like, oh, he's shooting a lot. I want to see the physical difference from where he is today to what he'll be in September when they do their media day.
Yeah. Quick note on media day. The Blazers are going to end the season on not this Sunday, this following Sunday, I believe. Easter Sunday. The game is at noon against the Warriors. So it's a back-to-back, a 4 tip on Saturday and on the road, and then a noon tip on Sunday, which is really dumb. But the talk right now is that exit interviews are going to happen then.
Oh, really?
Yes. So everybody can get out of town.
Oh, okay.
But I will be there, and we will have it covered. What we'll probably do is do the exit interviews there, and I will come back, and we will do a long season wrap-up. And then we'll start taking a look at the summer. A lot of the questions that we got tonight were summer-based questions.
I would say most of our questions at this point are
pretty much are
future plans.
I want to pivot a little bit here because, and normally I would save this for the summer, but I've gotten it asked by so many people, and it's kind of weird, for me especially. And that's the idea of has Anfernee Simons played his last game as a Trailblazer? And I don't know, you go first on this one.
I mean, if I'm a betting man, and this is roulette, it's like, is he here or is he gone? Like I'm putting my chips on gone. I'm not happy to say that, man. Yeah. Like I think there's a human side of this that does suck, but it could also present a real crazy opportunity for him, and maybe ends up being like the best possible thing. But I'm a betting man. Yeah, I'm putting it all entirely on he's gone. He is not here next year, and it's kind of weird to say that because like I'm even blanking right now in the moment. What was his last game? What was, you know what I mean? Like we didn't.
Yeah.
With CJ, you got an idea. Like you kind of knew, like, oh, there's a new dude in town.
That's probably it. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, okay, here he goes. He's goodbye. It's like that one. It's such a weird season and kind of such a bad ending that it's. Yeah, I would willing to say yes, it is, and it's a weird thing to say.
It is, and clearly Ant's salary is one of the more likely pieces if the Blazers are going to make a move.
You're an Ant guy, man. Like, where are you at with all this stuff?
I mean, personally, it's going to suck. Like he's my guy. But I've had this discussion with a lot of the guys before. Most guys don't stay with one team their whole career.
No, it's a very rare thing, man. It really is.
And with that, as long as he's not getting sent to basketball purgatory and he's getting sent to a good space, I'll be happy for him.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is a world where he does stay. Even if they do make big moves this summer. And the only reason I say that is because of the way Joe Cronin has talked about Damon Ant basically being, look, if we have these two, we're comfortable with where we are offensively. You know what I mean? He's said that more than a couple times. And so do I think that Ant has played his last game? The likelihood is on no. Because you're always significantly less likely to trade than to trade. Mm-hmm. To not trade than to trade. There we go. But it's still weird. You know what I mean? Like, because it's still he's 23.
Yeah, it's baby.
It feels like he's been here for a while, and also not at all.
Right.
Because the first 4 years he was, particularly first 3 years, he was a development guy, and then he developed, and now you got your first like taste of him being as a developed player, and you're like, that's pretty good. Let me see what else we got here. And selfishly, I want to see him develop.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now he's a really good offensive player.
Right.
The other one I've gotten before is this likely if this just as Jusuf Nurkic just played his last game for the Trailblazers? I would tend to lean more towards yes. With him than with Ant.
Yeah, I'm not. See, here's the crazy thing, man.
Are you the other way here?
I think I am, yeah, because like you know how I feel about that situation. Yeah. I've made that abundantly clear. But I'm going to point to the thing that I think has stopped this already. Who wants that deal? What is the deal? Who is it? What's the team that's like, oh, there's only what? Would it be 3 more or is it 2 more at this point? I'm already blanking on Nurk's deal. It'd be 2 more after this year, right? This year 1 of a 4. So technically,
so the next year, then 2 more.
Okay, yeah. So you technically have 3, right?
Yeah.
But like, I'm still like, who is that team? I can't pinpoint that team right now. Now, a lot of movement can happen. A lot of things happen in the NBA in the summer, but I just don't know who that team is. I don't.
Okay.
I'm not saying teams aren't going to need the position. It's more like, who's the team that says we're looking for that spot of salary and we need that position. I think that's the tough thing that I'm thinking about is I just don't know who that team is.
We'll dive into this more as we have exit interviews but it's a question I wanted to answer it because it was one that I got a ton. It's one I was like, God damn, really? Like, I guess. I mean, that's always on the table, but it
feels like it has been, yeah.
But I mean, not just with those guys, but I mean, with any player. Is this the last time?
Oh yeah.
But like, because Ant's time has been both 5 years and not, in the sense of like being on the floor. Mm-hmm. It feels weird. It feels different than when if you're talking about CJ for 9 years,
Right.
It's just a very interesting thing. A couple questions in here. Rip City Squid, and I've gotten this from a few other people asking about why is Reddish suddenly seeing a reduced role? Did something happen off the court? Not that I've heard of. I think they're just trying things. I think they're trying to put Shaedon in other spots, and I think they're using Cam. Cam is really the only other ball handler-esque kind of player that they have outside of, let's see, Arch. Keon and Chauncey talked about this tonight where he said he feels like it's kind of unfair to Keon to ask him to be a point guard because he's not a point guard. He's an attacking guard was how he kind of caveated that. And so with your primary ball handlers all down and Damon Ant, and then your secondary creator and Jusuf Nurkic down, your other secondary creator and Justice Winslow down, your other, isolation bucket getter and Jeremy Grant, you need somebody to come off the bench. And so it's not going to be Kevin Knox and Watford starting. So somebody's got to come off the bench. And so I think it's Cam. So
I mean, Cam is 11. He's 11 for 34 his last 6 games. I think part of this is just Cam's he's a bit of a funk right now. Yeah. He's not doing a lot offensively for him. And you got other guys that are playing well in the last 4 games, 5 games. So I think it's just a combination. I don't think there's anything more to that.
Have you seen anything from Shaedon? There's some version of this in here in the questions. Have you seen anything from Shaedon that makes you think differently about this summer as it pertains to Shaedon in general?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's you see so much potential, and I'm not always a guy that falls in love and committed to potential. I think it's a lot of wait and see with the summer stuff because, again, I saw a lot of names and questions today that I just don't think there's – I think there's answers to right now, but those answers could change for good or for bad. But I think I would say about Shaedon is I like the potential so much, the size, the athleticism, the ability that we're seeing, that, man, if he can make the right strides this summer, I just – if I was a voice in that general manager office, and I'd imagine there's going to be one of them for sure that's going to be kind of echoing this, it's like, can we do everything to keep him? Because that is a piece that I'd be interested to see come off the bench next year for a team that I'm hoping is significantly better. I think it's a bit much to go from what you are today to saying like Western Conference contender, I think it's like it'd be more realistic for me to say what you are today to could we be in the second round and give a team a little bit of hell? Like I think I'm driving towards that. And on that kind of team, I think Shaedon would make a lot of sense coming off your bench and seeing how much he could grow.
Somebody asked in the comments, where is Grant? Feels like he isn't at games anymore. Jeremy's been there every night. Jeremy has been there every night.
Yeah.
So,
maybe just missing him on the TV.
Yeah, don't know what to tell you. And some version of this I've gotten across the board. Do you think they'll keep Cam? Do you think they'll keep Tease? Tease, unquestionably. I would be shocked if Tease wasn't a Trailblazer next year.
Mm-hmm.
One way to think about this is they have the bird rights for both guys. And so if you re-sign them, now you still have access to your MLE. Because you quote-unquote lost it when you traded away Gary Payton, right? Mm-hmm. So what you do is you basically pay that same money to Matisse, and now you still have access to it again. And it's like you didn't lose anything. So just for that alone, I would be surprised if they didn't keep him.
Yeah, I have nothing to add to that. I think that you're 100% right. By the way, hell of a display of Tortle shots tonight down in San Francisco. I don't know if you saw that, but man, he looked real banged up to me, man. He looked like a good move at all.
Last I saw was I didn't have the game on. I saw him throwing down reverse dunks in the layup line.
Hey, we're just going to let this go. We're actually not interested in pursuing this. Oh, what happened there?
Listen, I'll put my 2 cents in on this. Most Blazer fans and people who listen to this know where I stand on this. And
oh, yeah.
I would say my sourcing on this is about as good as it gets. They didn't drop it because Gary's healthy now. They dropped it because there was nothing there. That's why they dropped it. Remember the whole, hey, you should probably check with New Orleans too. Remember that little side note that they had kind of thrown in there? Every single bit of that reporting is now proven to be false.
You think we're going to get a retraction or an apology from any of those writers?
No.
Really? Okay.
Nope.
It's okay to be wrong in this business, man. It's a tough-ass business. It's another thing to do entirely misreporting and then not acknowledge.
Not even misreporting. It's carrying water.
Whatever. Yeah, whatever you want to call it. Like, to just do that and then not acknowledge the fact that that was complete bullshit.
Yeah.
That's a problem, man. We can't be doing that.
And I would imagine that the reason it was dropped is because the Warriors were going to get hammered.
Absolutely. They looked stupid.
There will be lawyers.
He played as many minutes as Kuminga tonight. Like, oh, he just can't play. And then now it's like, oh, let's play him as much as our young player. Okay.
So, if you followed along that whole little stupid saga, I called it a hit piece from the jump. And lo and behold, it was a hit piece.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that version of that. I'm so glad that it's done, to be bluntly honest. Where are you at in general, as it pertains to just watching the team?
Yeah, man. Like, I know there's elements of this team that are, exciting to see, like how it continues to evolve and grow. I've enjoyed watching the last couple, but the first game, give me a second here. I just had it a second ago. Oh, so the Utah game, the Clipper game is probably the one I watched the least coincidentally. Like, I had it on, but it was like almost background more than it was me intently watching. I knew they were going to lose that game. And then Utah, I'm like, okay, Dame's still playing here. So turned that one on and I couldn't believe that they won. We watched that together on a live watch party. In Chicago, the writing was on the wall for me. To be honest, I'll sum it up. Long-winded answer.
I like those. I'm fans of them.
I like watching some of these dudes, but also, like, if I could get ESPN to not autoplay. I like watching the young dudes play and develop. I'm also not like watching it as closely as I watch this team for like 98% of the rest of their schedule. I'm not at a point where they're not going to captivate me and get my full 1,000% attention. Like you're going to cite a play in one of their games coming up, and I'm just going to go, oh, okay, I must have missed that one. Like I'll have it on, but I'm not going to be sitting on my couch just directly watching that.
Part of me is just sitting here going, I'm a lunatic because I'm going to watch closer.
Oh, you're also going to probably rewatch some of these games too.
Some?
And by the way, you've already been to 2 games. We know you're a lunatic.
I'm going to rewatch all of them. Like I always do. I'm going to rewatch and watch, and when things catch my eye, I'm going to grab a clip and I'm going to send it to somebody else I know in the league and go, am I watching the right thing here? Am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? Yep. And then somebody is inevitably going to text me back at 3 a.m. Who are you? How did you get this number?
Don't worry. Answer the question.
No, that's the one great thing about this league is that when you do that, inevitably the people that you send it to, they're also up too. But I am a lunatic. You and I have talked about this a million times. I love watching young players develop. I love watching. Process. Oh, yeah. It is. It's like when you see those little things click. We spent all this talking about Shaedon, and rightfully so. He's been tremendous.
He deserves it. Yeah.
But there's been stuff from Jabari. Like I talked to him over a couple weeks, and before the break, he was like, "Man, I'm just playing tight. Like every time he took an open 3, he was just tight." And just getting reps, I asked him before the game, I'm like, "How you feeling, man? Does it feel better to just know, like, hey, you're gonna go out at this time, you're gonna be out there for this long. As long as you're not in foul trouble, you're gonna." Like he was like, "Yeah, it's just." I asked him what he was struggling with most now, and it's like honestly, the mental stuff of being a 5. Because remember, when he came into the league, he talked about, I'm pretty comfortable playing 1 through 4. I just like 5. Like if you looked around the NBA, these 5s, like he was like, yeah, like we was talking about Chicago game. He was like, I got Andre Drummond, like he kind of like shrugged his shoulders and kind of gave me a look like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with that?
Right.
Like, for those that aren't aware of how big Andre is, number one, Andre's 6'9". Do not believe a bleeping thing about him being 7 foot tall. He's 6'9", but he is 290 probably. Like he's a smidgen smaller than Nurk, but he's 3.5 inches shorter. It's a big dude. Bari's 215 at most.
Yeah.
At most. And so like that mental and physical like thing, like what do I do with this? He didn't look scared. He didn't know what to do with it. But like he wasn't tight. He was just playing. And I thought you saw him get the ability to just like play a little bit free, and everybody was like, of course he is. He's getting minutes. Look, man, I've seen guys get minutes and struggle too. It's there is a process that you just kind of have to go through. Like you have, most guys suck when they're young.
Yeah,
that's just the reality of it. And I think he's getting through that. Like, you know what? I can be here. Not like, can I be here? I belong out here. And you're seeing him do some things. They're like, oh, okay. Kind of like what we saw in Summer League, why he was just in the right spot regularly. And I like, those are the things that I love to watch here down the stretch. The other one is, can Matisse Thybulle continue shooting the hell out of the ball? And the answer appears to be yes.
So, Matisse, I think Matisse is actually, despite the awful record, I think getting Matisse and seeing what Matisse has been from behind the arc, Danny, I mean, if you're looking for something to continue to watch, it's not just, can Bari become this small ball big for Portland that can facilitate and grow in that way? I think it's also guys like Matisse. Like Matisse is going to be a pretty big piece for them. It's just the reality of the situation of where they're at and what they're looking for. He's a defensive dog, and if he can keep shooting the ball like what he's been doing since he got to Portland the rest of the way, I think you go into the offseason pretty encouraged of what he maybe could be building on, because that's all it was for him. It was just shooting. Had that dude had 7% better clip from behind the arc, Philadelphia isn't so quick to get rid of him.
They're not letting him go. Are you kidding?
Hell no. So, like, what can he do to build on what it's been so far? go into the summer, you relock him up, you got those bird rights, and bring him back. And whether it's the starting lineup or a bench piece doesn't matter to me. It would depend on that move you make, but that's a dude that I've really enjoyed having. It's another reason to watch. If you want to be a psycho like you got to find those reasons, right? That's
the other thing is
always interest me, but like watching Tease to see how confident he continues to be behind the arc, that's something to keep paying attention to.
One, I hope to God I can grab him over the summer for the show.
I would love to talk to Tease.
Okay, I will tell all of you, Tease is one of my favorite players of the team to talk to because he is just so interesting. He is such a this is going to sound so corny. He is a joy to talk to. Like, there's just something about him in that he's just happy. Like, you never just find somebody who's just content with life. He's just content with life, and it's very infectious and contagious. And he's not different, like super weird. He just has a little bit of a different drum. Just a little offbeat every here and there, and it's
right.
It just makes for I think it'll be a really, really interesting discussion, not just basketball, but just stuff in general. And somebody just said his YouTube videos during the bubble were awesome. Yeah, no, he shot, edited, and produced his own documentary from the bubble that came out incredible. We'll revisit this one, but I'll throw it out there because I think I know how both of us are going to answer this immediately. But I've gotten this from 50 of you. If the Blazers got the number 1 pick, would they trade it? Brandon, on 3, answer. 1, 2, 3. No. It's the 1 pick they wouldn't trade.
And there's only 1 player you'd even think about that way.
His name is Giannis. That's it.
He ain't going anywhere.
That's the list.
Yeah, that's the list. It stops there. There is no other conversation.
But look, if they get number 1 and Giannis is available, yeah, I'm okay with that.
I tend to scratch that off. Guy that might win his 2nd championship in city nobody cared about. He has no reason to leave.
Yeah, maybe it's because he got to. He wants to go somewhere else.
I want to do this. I want to be like LeBron.
Yeah, I want to go. I want to challenge.
Yeah,
it's too easy for me.
I don't want to be Braun, and when you tell me the West is weak, I want to go to the West now and dominate the West.
The West?
The West is weak.
Couple more games coming up.
Yep.
You've got all of the road games we'll have the watch parties up for. And then after the season, I'm just kind of pushing stuff back just because of my surgery and the way stuff happened. We will have General Manager Joe Corona will hop on the show. So we will have that. Dame will hop on the show at some point. We were supposed to have him right after the All-Star break, but then my surgery and everything got bumped back, and now that's where we are. That's pretty much it. Coming up, we're gonna come back just for a few games in a couple of weeks, and then the summer is gonna be here. I plan on having some watch parties for the playoffs, but we're just gonna take just a little bit of a break for a while. We'll do once a week, just to kind of, hey, here's where things are. We'll probably do it a lot more even informal than this, where we'll just kind of open it up, do some legit Q&A. And then the draft lottery is May 16th. That's the next big date. It's not that far off.
No, let me.
You gonna take-a-thon this real quick?
I'm gonna take-a-thon this real quick.
Okay.
All right, and
where'd they end up?
We're getting Wemby.
Oh, first number 1 rolled, number 1 pick.
I got Portland 1, Orlando 2, Houston 3, Indy 4, Detroit 5, Spurs 6, Charlotte 7. That
probably
would hurt.
I mean, everybody wants Wemby, but Scoot going to Orlando with all of those bigs.
They would be happy.
Yeah.
And by the way, Orlando, we are a half game back of Orlando right now.
Yeah, well, the Orlando Magic beat the Brooklyn Nets tonight. Mikal Bridges went off for 44.
Dude, Huevos Banchero's been playing his ass off, and I loved his quote. People think we're tanking. Like, they're 27 and 23 in their last 50 games. They haven't been that bad of a team.
No, they suck to start the year because rookies suck.
Rookies suck, and so You won't catch Charlotte, San Antonio, Houston, Detroit. That's impossible. You could catch Orlando.
Oh no, that's a real thing. Like they could have fifth best odds in the draft,
and keep Washington at bay,
Yep.
and you'd have fifth best odds, which would give you 10.5% chance of landing, according to Tankathon, the Wemby sweepstakes.
and remember, think about that. At 10%, like the other teams in front of you only have 14.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like those teams have that much more. Like you're right there with them.
Yep.
So, yes, I've allowed myself to think what it would happen if they got the number 1 overall pick.
I'm going to buy a French flag, and I'm going to put a freaking flagpole in my front yard and then raise it up. That guy's so French.
I got
He's so French.
Brennan Sprague.
Brendan Sprague.
I did add the Babbel app to my phone to perhaps pick up some French. Makes me wish I would have taken French in high school instead of Spanish. We'll get out of here on that. We're going to keep it under an hour. Number 1, just because there's not a ton to get into like the deep stuff. Number 2, it's good to be back. Number 3, it's Sunday night. Relax. Number 4, I hurt. I heard.
So do I. It's been the weekend, buddy. I got a 4
Oh, my bad. You get a 4 a.m. wake up call if you golfed all weekend, you monster.
This life ain't easy, Danny. You know, some people, your surgery, that's okay. But like, I had to golf in Tacoma and I drive back. Oh my God, what a tough life I live.
Terrible. You can find us on social media at Danny Marang, at Brandon Sprague, at Jack Ramsays. You can find us on the radio, Brandon Dirt and Sprague, 6 to 9 a.m. every single day. I will be in No Dusty tomorrow. Both of us on 1080 The Fan from noon to 3.
We'll have more Blazer stuff there too, by the way.
Yeah, we will have. I mean, we only got 2 more weeks of this, so we got to milk it while we can.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can email the show, jackramsays@gmail.com. Other than that, everybody take care. Talk soon. We'll come back and we'll do like a heavy off season after exit interviews. And then other than that, have a great week and we'll talk soon. Bye.